Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Now get any breakfast sandwich for just $2. Available only through the app. Mobile order and pay available at participating McDonald's. McD app download and registration required.
Shop Mattress Firm's year-end sale and put an end to junk sleep. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase up to a $499 value. Or shop top-selling brands and get up to 50% off select mattresses, like Sealy twin mattresses starting at $224.99 or Serta twin mattresses at $349.99. And shop with confidence thanks to our low price guarantee. Only at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is John Silver, lead recruiter of the Dark Order, and you are listening to All Things Elite.
Welcome to the 133rd episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwoods, and I am the host of this lovely show, back from my short week break, which I appreciate Floyd for letting me take. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Floyd Johnson Jr. How are you doing, my man?
I am doing great. Just checking off the list. I was at Winter is Coming 2. Then I saw the new Spider-Man movie, which we both loved. And the Chiefs won, Steelers lost, Titans lost. So the Chiefs are the number one team in the AFC. I'm not going to get a lot into football talk, but you asked how I was doing. And the Chiefs record is definitely reflective of how I'm doing in any one in time. So I'm really excited to talk about wrestling today.
Yep, and the Lions somehow beat the fucking leaders of the NFC and the Arizona Cardinals. I just can't say much about that other than the fact that, that's pretty fucking cool. But yes, we got a lot to cover, of course, with this week's episode of All Things Elite. We are going to get into Winter is Coming 2 and the Rampage that followed it. And I know we're going to get a lot of Floyd's reactions from the show itself, which I always love to hear because Floyd does a great job of recounting the show when he's there. But before we get into everything on this episode of All Things Elite, make sure you guys continue to download this fine show on Google or Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us on Spotify or any other podcasting platform, give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. You can leave a rating and a review. Let us know how we're doing. And if you're so inclined, you can leave a donation through our podcast provider, Red Circle. But the easiest way to support us is by following us on social media. On Twitter, we are at ATElitePod, at Social Suplex. Those are the guys that make this show possible. Check out all the other podcasts they have on their network. You will not be disappointed. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. And Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Now, getting into our big news of the week for AEW, it is the fact that on the day that we are recording this, and it actually just, for me, it tipped over to 1 a.m., it is now the date of the AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash that will be airing on December 22nd, which was the day that you guys will be hearing this. And also, Rampage for this week is moved to Saturday. It will be a Christmas Day episode of Rampage because of the fact that TNT has their day-long Christmas story marathon that they run. So you know what? They did the commercial for that movie that last year where they parodied it, but I guess they couldn't just get their normal time slot. Whatever. They get Christmas Day, though. It's honestly kind of cool. I really think it's really cool. But that's the big news of the week, though. Floyd, like, I know we're going to get into the talk of what we're going to see on Holiday Bash, but thoughts on just Rampage itself taking place on Christmas Day?
It's genius because, okay, let's just say you're not into basketball or football. You'll have wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just Christmas. There's not a lot going on that day. It's a perfect day to do it. Christmas Eve, a lot of people are gone to their neighbors and to their family members, to whoever's house. They're just gone. And then, really Christmas, let's just be real. It's over at like noon. You've opened up the presents. You've probably started eating food. It's kind of over at noon. And then, the rest of the day, some people go to the movies. But for the people staying at home, you'll have Rampage and you'll have a title match. So it's going to be fun. Complete warning out there. If you don't want to know what happens on Rampage before Christmas, log out of social media. Because it is a title match. And if the title changes hands, that becomes major wrestling news. And it's going to be everywhere, and no one's going to hashtag it, and you're going to get spoiled. If that means a lot to you. I'm used to watching, wrestling spoiled, so it doesn't bother me as much. It does, like, when I'm rating matches, which I don't think my ratings are much better than anyone else's, but when I'm rating matches, it does help with the rating when I don't know what's going to happen. But whatever. It's just, that's how I view wrestling. I watch it very emotionally, but I just really wanted to put the disclaimer out there. If you don't want to know what happens on Christmas, log out.
Yep.
Enjoy time with your family. Enjoy Christmas if you have it or whatever. And if you don't, just watch a bunch of Christmas movies. Love Actually, greatest Christmas movie of all time.
I would say Spider-Man No Way Home is the best Christmas movie ever because it takes place on Christmas or around Christmas time. At least. No, don't do that to me, sir. No. Yes.
No, don't do that. Don't.
Yes.
It hurts my feelings when people do that because, unfortunately, I don't take a lot of things serious. But my categories of what is a Christmas movie and what is not, which includes Die Hard, not.
Okay, I was just gonna. That was the only question I was gonna ask. Does Die Hard count in it?
No. I will fight tooth and nail about Die Hard not being a Christmas movie, and I want to let everybody know, I love Die Hard. One of my favorite action movies of all time. Just because you love a movie doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
Fair enough. But that being said, too, of course, because we won't be posting until after Christmas. So definitely everybody who listens to this show, if you celebrate it, Merry Christmas. If not, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, all that kind of situation.
Yeah, if it's just a Saturday, Happy Saturday. Yeah, because because enjoy time with your family, enjoy wrestling, be kind to people.
And just, we'll definitely say the whole spiel again after the end of the show, but definitely just want to say, hope everyone has a great Christmas. Shout out to Floyd for getting me the CM Punk Street Fighter shirt at Winter's Coming 2. I wanted that shirt so bad. I never got it. And he got it for me, and he's a legend for it, and I appreciate it. I was
so afraid that someone had ordered it for you already, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a shot, and I literally bought it, and then I got up first thing the next morning and sent it out. I was so excited to get it to you, dude. If I could have just drove to your house, I would have. But I was I was so excited for you to get it. It's I'm sitting up there, and I sent it, and I'm checking the tracking way too many times, way too early, because where Austin lives is off the beaten path, so it does take stuff a little longer to get there.
Definitely, but yesterday I did end up actually driving with Cindy to drop off the family package that we're sending your way. You've got a lot coming to you, so be prepared.
Dude, I told the wife, and I was like, "There's something for you in there." I was like, She was like, we're like so excited to see what it was, to see what it is. It's just like, yeah, this like we have no clue, so I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it. Like, and everyone went all out on it. But with that, though, getting in after the big news of the week, we can now talk about Winter is Coming 2. Now, a lot of hype going into this show. Of course, Winter is Coming 1 was already a massive show in itself. But the show kicked off with the AEW World Championship match. Hangman Adam Page defending the title for the first time in his reign against the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Now, gotta say, as somebody, when they went with the AEW World title match as the opening match, this was the one thing that ran into my mind when it happened, where I was like, holy shit, we're going with the title match first. This is going to be a draw. Because if there was a title changing hands, or if Hangman was beating Bryan Danielson for the first time, it wouldn't be the opening match on the show. Because at the end of the day, while wrestling fans can sometimes respect a draw, they're not going to prefer it. And quote to my guess from that point, I was right. The match did end in a draw. But again, this match was fucking awesome. These guys beat the hell out of each other. I really wish that Hangman could have wrestled at least a little bit before this match, just so that way we could see Hangman on television more than just actually wrestling, as opposed to just Bryan kicking in the heads of Hangman's friends. But despite the fact, though, these guys did insanely good. Every single moment was incredible. Like, it was so wonderful just seeing how much these guys just beat the hell out of each other. It was great. Like, if we talked about every single moment in the match, we'd be here all day long. But I mean, like, if you haven't watched it, watch the match. It is an hour of just great wrestling, so much fun. Like, it's just really fucking good. But yeah, I'm sure Floyd at the match itself, at the show itself, could tell you just how fucking crazy that match was.
So, all right. So I've been waiting all week to talk about this match. I actually almost messaged you to try to do the show a little early, but I just said, you know what, we're going to stick to our schedule because, for our listeners and stuff, we don't want the show jumping around a lot. But, so I took my wife to the show. It was my her first AEW show. It's funny. It was 28 for me, 1 for her. So really excited for this. We did the meet and greet, met Cody, met Fuego, met Cody. Man, so gotta tell you, going up to meet Cody, he's doing his normal handshake. Hey, how you doing? Signing everybody's stuff. So he sees me, and believe me, this shocked me. He gets bright. He comes around the table and gives me the biggest hug. Like, the only person he did that for.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was like, man, it's good to see you again. We talked about what we were looking forward to in Orlando. He grabbed the 8x10, signed it, did this big thing for Tiffany for her birthday. He gave that to me to give to her, and it was just this moment. So I'm saying hi to everybody, and it was this moment. It was like that kind of put me over in my wife's eyes. So it was like she had never been to an AEW show, and like for 3 years, I'm flying out, going out, at all these random shows and stuff. And she definitely, I wouldn't do any of it if she didn't let me. She's letting me go to these shows. She's, loving on me coming back. And I'm like, yeah, it just, feels like a family. I know everybody there. And I've been telling her that. But, there was always a little bit of, whatever. And then she got there. And I'm like saying hi to the people that were due the 8x10s, the people in merchandise, the things. And then Cody does that for me. She's like, you really are. She was like, you really do know everybody here. And it was just like, it really, to use a wrestling term, put me over in the eyes of my wife. So I thought for me, that was just a really cool moment. It's like, You know, when people talk about having their moment, it was like, that was kind of my moment with Cody. I'm like, thank him. He put me over. It was awesome. It was a good day. And besides that, it was just, we get in, trying to talk to everybody in the match. My wife is probably the definition of a casual wrestling fan.
Yep.
That definition. She watches it when I watch it. She watches it, when she likes going to live shows. When I say that she was completely taken in by this match, I will tell you this. Anyone my age and younger will know how important this is. Her phone never came out after about 5 minutes in the match. This is a woman that does not care about performances like that. Like, the idea of wrestling, it's just a show. She was taken for 55 minutes. It completely had her attention. And
God damn.
I saw people that stood up the whole hour. The excitement in there, you could cut it with a knife. Everybody was biting at the false finishes. When Hangman did the backflip on the outside of the ring. I got a lot of great pictures. I posted them on my Facebook. I don't know how many of them you saw, but it was just mesmerizing. And I wanted to wait a week, and I'm very excited that I got to wait a week to say this. Because, at the moment I was like, man, that's the best live match I've ever seen. I mean, as far as singles matches. And, there's Cody and Dustin. And you know what Cody and Dustin means to me. I got to say, best live match I've ever seen as far as singles match.
I mean, I believe it, honestly. I mean, it was...
It was like, I saw Omega and Moxley. I saw all three Omega and Moxleys, and they were brilliant. I saw... the Dustin and Cody and all this. I will still say Cody and Dustin is probably my favorite match, but I'm talking about performance. When you look at the performance, move execution, false finishes, holding the crowd with the palm of your hand, I don't think anything beats this match that I've seen live.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, many people disagreeing with you. Like, these guys, 60-minute draw, tore the house down, and it opened the show. And again, and that's the best part about it too. Now is there's absolutely going to be a rematch, and people are going to die waiting for that rematch to happen. But then also too, now we can get Hangman really doing more stuff with his reign as well, just himself. So he can have title defenses and he can win matches and showcase himself again, and then get into other feuds and of course all that other kind of stuff. So it's a situation where it works really well. And Bryan, of course, it doesn't hurt him to lose only his first big pay-per-view match. That doesn't happen, so he's still good. And yeah, it's nothing much to say. Also, Bryan healing it up during commercial break where he faked a yes chant and then flipped the crowd off was the best.
Yes, I have this amazing picture where he's on the top ropes giving everybody the middle finger, and I love it. It was my favorite picture of the night. I've always thought Daniel Bryan was a great wrestler. I've always thought, you couldn't argue with me. Daniel Bryan's a great wrestler. Oh my God. But people would say he's the best American wrestler ever, and I'd be like, maybe you might be going a little too far there. I don't know. It's a little harder now. Yeah, it's a little harder for me to argue that down. He was amazing. He was brilliant. Hangman was elevated. Yep. Elevated. A world champion elevated in a match where he doesn't win. Man. I truly imagine we will get this match in January or February, whenever it comes, but good Lord, I would not mind waiting to March and getting this at Revolution.
Sure.
It would take some creative booking to get there, but I definitely would not mind that. This match was an awe-inspiring experience. I will literally never forget it. Like I said, from the reaction that my wife gave, which completely shocked me, to the reaction of everybody around the ring, and including myself, I literally thought they were going to do the thing where Hangman hit it, and then he won with 5 seconds or 3 seconds left, and Daniel Bryan was like, dude, 3 seconds, that kind of thing. But they went ahead and did the full hour, and oh my God, I've never been in the building for an hour for a Broadway. Never been in the building for a Broadway, and yeah, I will never forget it. Never forget it.
Hell yeah. We then had the palate cleanser of that hour-long battle where we had Wardlow kill Matt Sydal. Wardlow is running hot right now, and he's been having Sean Spears back him up recently, his Pinnacle partner. So Sydal got
accountability buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, which is literally what it is too. Yeah, because Wardlow was powerbombing the hell out of Sydal, and Sean was like, he's had enough. Get the pin. We don't get paid by the hour. Just wrap it up. And Wardlow does it eventually. Sean gets in the ring and was like, look, we're good. We're good. And then hits Sydal with a chair. And then Sean Spears then gets a call from his phone. And he's like, oh, it's MJF. And Sean goes to Wardlow and says, hey, look, MJF wants you to run down, get some champagne for MJF's post-match celebration for when he wins the Dynamite Diamond ring. And he's like, look, I'll drive. I'll drive you by. It's like, we're good. And Wardlow's being dragged around. He's continuing to be MJF's bitch. And it's the continuing tease of when Wardlow will turn on MJF. And I like Sean Spears' addition to this situation, because I think Sean's great, and just his added personality into what's happening is genuinely so much fun to watch. And yeah, this was a nice little slight story palate cleanser to give you a break from the insanity that was that first match.
Absolutely, and it was perfect, and this crowd was completely into this squash. They wanted him to do it one more time. I got to tell you, Texas, I don't know how it came off on TV, but Texas was up and on their feet and excited for the whole show. Even when Rampage came, I'd say maybe 50 to 100 people left. It stayed pretty much full for the whole 4 hours of the show. So I gotta get tapped off to Texas, but yeah, we're seemingly building to something going on with Wardlow.
Yeah, 100%. We then had the rubber match between the Woman of 1,000 Holds, Serena Deeb, and Hikaru Shida. I love this feud so much. I love both of these girls. I think they do such great work. And this was a good match, honestly. I don't know if it was better than their last encounter or even their first encounter.
I think their first match was the best.
I was going to say, I think their first is currently in the lead for me right now out of their matches. This was still very good. Both of these girls just do such a great job. Shida, of course, got the win. She wins the rubber match. She wins the feud. So I think now is a fair point for them to kind of go their separate ways and do different things. Though I want, now that Serena Deeb is a heel, the want to see more baby faces work with her is so strong with me, because I feel like she can really elevate so many people because of how good of a wrestler she is. And I think I would dig a feud with her and Tay Conti. I would dig a feud with her and Red Velvet. People just that. I think any babyface you put with Serena Deeb, she can help elevate that person because of how good she is. She can get you to not like her because of how good she is, and she'll rub it in your face about it. And yeah, it reinvigorated Shida too, because a lot of people were kind of maybe a little bit tired of Shida, but when she started feuding with Serena Deeb, it just elevated it to another level of people being like, man, Shida's great, or man, Serena Deeb is great.
And you got to see an angrier side of Sheeta, which I definitely think you needed.
Oh yeah. Well, they did a great job of putting legit heat behind this non-title feud.
And again, AEW, the women's division needs that.
Yes,
they need matches. They need feuds that don't have to do with the belt, and they need to be good, and they need to be a reason to get into them. I think they did a perfect job with this feud. You know, this match, maybe 4 months later, you'd be like, why is it on this show? It perfectly fit into the levity of the show because they had built the match so well.
Absolutely, yeah. We then had a backstage interview with the Varsity Blondes, asking for an update on Julia Hart after last week Malachi Black sprayed black mist in the face of Julia Hart, and that basically saying he's not here. She's still not here this week. She's still recovering. Griff Garrison was a man very angry and was like, I'm going to break Malachi Black's jaw. It was interesting. Brian Pillman Jr. was more so like, hey man, look, we gotta stay calm on the situation. And then like Garrison was like, dude, that's our sister. She's our best friend. We can't just not do something. We have to, like, you can see Griff is really motivated by revenge in the situation. And I guess like more so like Brian's trying to be like more rational in the situation, I guess. And
that's really shocked when you're talking about, you know,
a Pillman. Yeah,
a Pillman. He's the sane one.
Fair enough. But so this would lead into moving forward for their feud that's going on right now. But we'll quickly get to the main event of Winter is Coming 2, the final of the Dynamite Diamond Ring tournament. And okay, we got to talk about MJF's promo that was cut before the show. And Floyd, if you can give me a small period of time on this, I have to speak on this a bit before we get into the match.
Absolutely.
I will hand the match off to you, but I need to talk about this promo. So, of course, I wasn't on last week, and that was when CM Punk showed up in Long Island, MJF's hometown, and got booed. Not convincingly enough. It wasn't John Cena one-night stand levels boos because, I mean, like, listen, that was weak shit. Y'all got to try a lot harder than that. But regardless, Punk cut a promo on MJF, shut him down, all that kind of stuff. And then MJF was responding, basically. Also, of course, had to throw in some incest jokes for Texas because, of course, and talks about how CM Punk was like, listen, man, I didn't realize because you think that you're championship material. I didn't realize that having an undefeated streak against an underwhelming challengers made you championship material. I just thought that made you the new Ryback. Now, we've talked a lot about MJF's ability to ride the line of what is considered to be okay for wrestling heels to say in this timeline and like in this generation that we're in now, in this time frame. And he walks that line. He dances on that line. He has gotten himself in trouble many times. And I have nothing but respect for MJF to like push the boundaries of what a wrestling heel can say. That being said, I want a punishment dealt out to MJF for even mentioning that talentless fucking bum on a wrestling television show in 2021. Because now what you've done is you've acknowledged him to the point where people who most likely, because he's been gone for a very long time, don't know who Ryback is, would Google him and waste like 2 minutes of their lives looking at a waste of a career. And then also, now you have people being like, oh man, what if they got Ryback in AEW? Don't even try to fucking put that in. Don't even try to put that idea out into the world. That should never, ever be the situation. So I don't care if it's a fine. I don't care if it's a suspension. I wouldn't go as far to say fired, but I would understand if you would do such a thing. There needs to be an actual punishment for MJF for bringing up that man's name, because you can't say stuff like that. You can't mention such awful, awful additions to pro wrestling like that. You can't throw that in there. And I want Tony Khan to do something about it. I want him to do something about it. I want some sort of indication, because look, you can't let stuff like that go unnoticed. You can't let stuff like that fly under the radar, because that is absolutely heinous of a thing to say. So I eagerly await to see what the punishment is, because MJF deserves it, and he's a piece of shit for even saying something like that. And he also said stuff about Dante Martin. That's fine. They wrestled in the match. Floyd can talk about the match. But there needs to be a punishment on that. Do not ever bring up that bum's name.
Well, Dante Martin can jump really, really high and jump really,
yes, he
really
can.
far. And it's amazing when you see it. But it doesn't always make for a great match. This match was, to steal a word from the great MJF, mid. It was mid. It was like, okay. And then Ricky Starks comes out and he just puts him in a move and he taps, and it's just like, that was mid. It was very mid. And it was like the crowd was into it and everything, and then we got the good part. After the match is over, we get FTR. Oh, we get Darby and Sting. We get their music or whatever. Or was it? I'm sorry, I don't remember how it went down. Who came out?
So it went like this. So basically, after the match was over, Dante Martin tapped out. FTR comes out and they celebrate with MJF, and they
pull him over on the shoulder. Okay, I remember that. And then the music hits, and it's
Sting and Darby.
It's Sting and Darby. Sting in Texas. And then CM Punk comes out, and he has a baseball bat in hand, and they escape. You know what I mean? I remember you had Dax and Cash kind of looking at Punk like, you don't want to get involved in this kind of thing. And then Punk comes out, he hands the bat to Sting. They leave. CM Punk then says, basically, you don't want to fight me one-on-one. You're getting your 3 against our 3. Deal with it. Apparently, CM Punk is a matchmaker in AEW. We've confirmed. And, and that's how I feel like it went off the show. We got a lot more after the show, but I feel like that is how the show went off the air. It went off the air, and then, so, we got a lot more sniping and as they continue to the back. And, I thought it was a great ending to the show. The match wasn't what I needed to be, but from what we can tell, the match was just to get to the whole setting up the 6-man tag.
Yeah, it was a situation where, like, it wasn't an AEW thing where, like, the match was all you needed. This match was to set up for what happened afterwards.
Yes, and then MJF becomes the 3-time diamond dozen ring guy. So, yeah, you can get that shirt on Shop AEW, which is cool because he can still use it as a weapon. And it's kind of a title for him to have since he's not really in the TNT or the world title picture. I think, though, that was a good thing to give him the 3-time. He's the only one that's ever won the title.
It's basically become his $1 million championship.
It's become his $1 million championship. When he finally loses, it's going to be a big deal. It was. I just thought it was a great story, great way to build to the next match. Big 6-man title match. You're talking about Darby, CM Punk, Sting versus how did he put it? MJFTR. That's how they put it. MJFTR, and it's gonna happen in Greensboro. Sting posted on Twitter on Tuesday, the earlier Tuesday, that's where the Greensboro Coliseum, 1988. It wasn't Starrcade, Clash of the Champions, Sting versus Flair, 1 hour. It was the match that made Sting, so he gets to return to Greensboro for that, and I'm very excited for that match, and it was a very exciting match. It's seriously one of those things where I'll say they know how to build a 6-man match. Generally, building to a 6-man match, nothing. But they've done so well preparing for this that I'm really excited about this one.
Yes, and the match itself was fine. Again, I think the fans, they got the best part of the show at the start with the matches, with the title match for the AEW World title. That was the best thing on the show match-wise. Now, seeing Sting and Darby and CM Punk together, all united against MJF and FTR, it's fucking awesome. Seeing CM Punk in that specific shirt was also quite awesome that he was wearing. The "you get your owns, then tell it what to do." I dig that shirt. And then, that moment at the end was great. The whole thing of what's going to happen in Greensboro next week with Sting returning is going to be insane. The fact that they are actually building towards a 6-man match like this is pretty significant. Again, I'm not a multi-man guy, but AEW can still find a way to just make those matches entertaining. And we'll talk about the 10-man match that happened on Rampage shortly. But yeah, and I went very kayfabe on what I said about.
Shop Mattress Firm's year-end sale and put an end to junk sleep. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase up to a $4.99 value. Or shop top-selling brands and get up to 50% off select mattresses, like Sealy twin mattresses starting at $224.99 or Serta twin mattresses at $349.99. And shop with confidence thanks to our low price guarantee. Only at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Now get any breakfast sandwich for just $2. Available only through the app. Mobile order and pay available at participating McDonald's. McD app download and registration required.
MJF's promo. But this was the best shot he had given in Punk the entire feud. That Ryback line was his best line that he's ever had in against CM Punk. It genuinely was. But I do want to get Floyd's reaction to the promo though, because I know I took hold on it, but I want to know what he thought of it.
I thought it was perfect. I thought it got the right kind of heat. And I think it danced on that line of things you could say. And, people don't say too far. You did get a few groans, but it was the right kind. It was the right kind of heat.
Yeah, no, it was the right kind. Because, again, it's such a slanderous statement. It's that simple.
Yes.
It's a statement that has no fact to it. It has no...
it's so over the top.
And for a fact that with CM Punk fans, as you know, saying that man's name and referencing that and CM Punk in the same sentence is going to get a rise out of CM Punk fans.
Oh, absolutely.
It got a rise out of me.
It worked perfectly. When he did it, I was like, I did the audible, and my wife was like, it's I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah,
hey, that is the correct response.
I had to explain to him.
You did not have to
explain Ryback to my wife in a minute, and it's very difficult to explain Ryback in a minute because you've never had a person that has this elevated opinion of himself without anything backing it up.
Uh-huh.
I'm just she's so was he really good? I'm no. She's was he I'm he was muscular, but he wasn't muscular in a way that just blew your mind away. He's a guy that you would notice in a room, but he didn't have charisma, and he's and they stopped short when that one hot run he had. They stopped short and didn't put the title on them, and they kind of missed their window. And, this is me talking wrestling to someone that generally does not give a shit about what I'm saying, but she even got it. She's like, oh, so he thinks he should have been the world champion. I'm like, yes, very much so. He thinks he should have been Hulk Hogan and The Rock combined if you hear him talk about himself. And it's hilarious when he talks about himself. And it's like, it's even more hilarious when his friends talk about him, because his friends mostly take excessive digs at him the whole time they're talking about him. Even people like that love him understand that, you know, he has an overinflated sense of self. So she laughed and we moved on.
As you should. But so that was AEW Dynamite. Winner is coming to crazy fun show. Floyd, very jealous that you got to see that live AEW title match. It's incredible. But we'll get into AEW Rampage, which kicked off with the 8-man tag match between the Super Click and Bobby Fish, Adam Cole, Bay and the Young Bucks, facing off against Chaos, when Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and the Best Friends with Chuck Taylor and Trent, who I wasn't able to talk about his return with me being off last week. Seeing Trent come back, and of course seeing the return of Sue as well, made me very happy. I love how Sue gets such a great reaction from the fans, and how she got in the ring and was celebrating with everybody, and she was in the giant friend hug. I loved it so much.
I know this will not happen, maybe for the TNT title, but one day in Long Island, it has to be a title match. Sue has to drive Trent to the ring and then be there to drive him home after he wins the title. That's how it has to happen. It's just, I've never, like, other than like Fuego being there when Sammy won the title had to happen, I feel like this is the only other one that has to happen. So when Trent finally gets his big win over, if it's a big win just over like MJF, or it's the title win, or whatever they do, the Best Friends win the tag belts, whatever they decide to do, it has to involve Sue, and it has to involve Trent and Sue hugging each other afterwards, just because that's going to be the greatest moment like ever.
Oh, 100%. And this opening 8-man match, again, like, as somebody who's not a fan of multi-man matches, anytime the Young Bucks are in a multi-man match, always love it. There was a great moment where, like, Orange Cassidy was kind of being the one who was singled out for the longest time. Trent had a really good hot tag as well in this match. Eventually, though, Orange Cassidy was able to set up, knock out Matt Jackson with an orange punch. And then Trent would get the pin on Bobby Fish, and Chaos and Best Friends ended up getting a win against Bobby Fish and the Super Click. And considering how, like, the feud is going right now with also Adam Cole feuding with Orange Cassidy, seeing Trent get the win honestly surprised me. I wasn't expecting him to get the pin, but I guess because he came back, they went with it. But it was still really cool to see Chaos get the win like that. And yeah, this was a really good opener. This was a good, like, opening main event that they do for Rampage, and it's so good to see Trent back. I every time he was gone, I missed him, because Trent was really fucking good every time he was on, and every time he was there, it always felt like there was a piece that was missing in Best Friends, and now that they're in Chaos, fits even more still that he's back. So this was awesome.
Absolutely. This match is the perfect way to keep a crowd into it. You just had a good Dynamite, a really good Dynamite with a really good ending. You want to keep the fans in attendance, and you want to start off Rampage with an exciting way. You put the Young Bucks out there with Adam Cole. Adam Cole is just so nuclear over. I'm just like, he brought all the over from that he had developed in NXT. He brought it right to AEW. The loudest thing I heard all night, even louder than Sting. You know, boom, and Adam Cole back. It's just, everybody loves that. Everybody loves him. The Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. Good Lord, how good he is at his character. He's just really, really good with the spray, and filming it for BTE. He was amazing. I just thought this match was pitch perfect. The right team won, because, Best Friends have pretty much been being dominated in this group until Trent came back. So it was very important to me that it be established that Trent gets the win over Bobby Fish, because Trent's the difference. He has turned the tide, and the best friends have started to get ahead of the Elite. So I've enjoyed that.
Yes. We then had the return of American Top Team's Dan Lambert with Men of the Year at his side. So Dan Lambert came back just in time for the holidays to just start ripping shit. He talks about how, because last week when Cody came out and challenged Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, Men of the Year were not happy about it, and they were screaming about where the hell was our try. Cody's an EVP. He's overstepping the line. It's bullshit. Dan Lambert was doing the same thing, saying that everyone sucks up to Tony Khan. Like, he started this company, said he was a fan, said all matches would be made on merit and talent, and that's why he put the weirdo in the skateboard as the main guy at one point, then the guy with his hands in his pocket, then he brought in Danielson and Punk. He had the carrot hanging over you and like was gaining your trust while he was stabbing you in the back with the other hand. And then he proceeds to just go, he's turning this company into a late 90s version of WCW. And I was just like, ooh, you said the thing. You said the thing. And went after Cody, politicking with Tony Khan. And then Rhodes then interrupts. And again, if this isn't evident of like how people still don't like Cody, even despite the fact that they were chanting for Dan Lambert to shut the fuck up, there were still boos when Cody came out anyway. Cody comes out, gets in the ring, rips the mic out of Lambert's hand. He's about to say something. Lambert rips the mic out of Cody's hand. They do that like 2 or 3 more times until eventually Cody has the mic, throws it at Men of the Year, and then goes after Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page until eventually he gets getting taken down. Dustin Rhodes comes to try to even the odds, but then Men of the Year still go down on Cody and Dustin and beat the crap out of him until it's Sammy Guevara, the TNT champion, coming out there to fully even the odds, and then they retreat, possibly teasing a 6-man match, not even a 6-man match, or just like something involving Cody and Sammy versus the Men of the Year, something along the lines of that. But pretty good promo. Honestly, when I saw them ripping the mics out of each other's hands, I'm like, okay, this is a bit silly. I was like, this didn't have to be the way. They could have just said something. They didn't have to just like, no, I want to talk. No, I want to talk. But that being said, I did appreciate like how Sammy, despite the fact that he's going to face Cody, backed him up because Men of the Year are a bunch of assholes. But I will go to our resident Cody fan on the show right now. Thoughts on this segment?
So, 2 things. First of all, Cody had the longest line in the meet and greet. Just going to let everybody know that because y'all all are fake. And they're all booing him. Whether you like it or not, y'all are just booing him for no reason. I don't think most people even know. I saw some fans booing, and they're looking around like, why are we booing this guy? And it was just, okay. They don't even know why they're booing the guy. They're just booing him.
Fickle.
They're fickle, and they're sheep. And Bryan Danielson, it was right. Second of all, Dan Lambert's so effing good at this. He's a phenom. I know he gets the character that he's supposed to portray. And they cut the promo, and then Sammy came out and then saved him with Dustin. Okay. And I really did enjoy the segment, and I enjoyed, the whole Sammy giving Cody the middle finger, because I truly think, like usually I just throw out a wild prediction because, I'm going to throw out this wild prediction because it's fun. And what if I'm right? I get to scream I'm right. But I truly think Cody is joining the Men of the Year, the group with Dan Lambert.
Wow.
I truly think that's going to happen. It may not. And I might be wrong, I guess. But it just looked like how it was done. The tea leaves are there. It would fit for the
American character that he's got.
Yes, and it's like, of course, the American Nightmare is in America's Top Team. That kind of thing. It works. and I think it elevates Scorpio and Ethan Page, and I think they screw over screw over Sammy. And Cody wins the title. The whole reason because I think there's two ways for this to go. It goes that way, or it goes they come out and fuck up with the match, and then we get Sammy and Cody versus Ethan and Scorpio Sky. And that just feels so WWE to me, right?
Yeah.
Can they coexist? That just seems so WWE to me, and I don't want to see it. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, it doesn't have to happen, really.
Exactly. And I just feel like Tony Khan, over this year, the one thing he has done is shown that he has his finger on the pulse of what wrestling fans want. Nobody wants that match. Maybe we get it, and I'll get on here and I'll bury it next week. Maybe we get it, but I just think you go extreme the other way. Cody turns heel on Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a thing for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe the Grinch that stole Christmas.
Maybe. He's a mean
Grinch,
one.
Yes.
But moving in, though, we add a submission match between the super bad girl Penelope Ford and Tay Conti with Anna Jay by her side. So didn't realize that this was going to be actually a submission match going into it. And it was all right, I think. Honestly, there was some pretty good submissions, I think, put on there at one point. And then eventually the finish would take place where Tay would hit Ty hit a pump kick, Penelope hit a back heel kick, but it was just too late, as eventually when she had her just wrenching on her knees and stuff like that, and just really working her submission in. She got the tap out victory. The bunny was ending up, who was backing up Penelope Ford, had the brass knucks, knocked out Ty Conti, but Anna Jay was able to chase them away with a steel chair afterwards. I think this was fine, honestly. Submission matches are pretty tough to pull off unless like you're like a full-on submission specialist where like you can just transition from one to the other and blah, 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 blah. Just because like most of these submissions aren't going to do jack. So I think this was okay, honestly.
Well, let me say, you know how I said Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb were the perfect way to have a feud without the title? I feel the opposite about this program.
All right.
I feel like it has no heat. I don't feel like I'm in the building. No one cared. No one cared. And considering Ty was literally about to go for the AEW Women's Championship, like it's a big step backwards. Yeah. And this has nothing to do with Ty or any of the people involved. They I just felt like how it's been booked with the brass knucks, and it's like I'm thinking maybe street fight, something like that. The fact that you went to a submission match where it overwhelmingly gave the face the advantage. It's like I've never even seen Penelope
Ford
do a submission move. She like won with. I know she used to do the bridge thing. And it was just like, no one just bought it. I'm not saying people left. It was just flat out dead. The match was It was mid. You know what I mean? I don't think it was bad. I just think the heat that they were supposed to be getting, they didn't get into this match.
No.
And it's just like, if I'm going to be real and I'm going to cover the show, I'm going to have to, tell the truth. And it was just like, yeah, this didn't necessarily, this almost could have killed the crowd if it wasn't for who was coming on at the main event.
Yes, and we'll move into the 10-man battle that took place in the main event of the show. Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz, and the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Bros, facing off against 2.0, Daniel Garcia, and the Acclaimed. And Max Caster wasn't even able to finish his rap because then they fight just start breaking out up on the ramp. And there was
dude, people pop so much on the Eddie Kingston thing.
Dude, fucking Eddie.
The Mark Henry where he's like, do your little let's time for the main event thing and let's go. He was just he didn't even bother. Yes, he had nothing for Mark Henry. And God, that man is so over. Eddie Kingston is so over. I'm like, I don't know what their plans for him in the future. I don't know if he should hold a title. I don't know, but good Lord, you got to take advantage of this man.
You got to keep using this dude.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of this man being as over as he is, because I'm talking crowd reaction when he comes down. I mean,
he's literally about to surpass Jon Moxley in terms of reactions.
Yes, and they're cheering him, and he has this angry pacing look, and everybody's cheering him pacing, and then he just goes and attacks. Again, Platinum Max is sometimes one of the favorite parts of the show. Nobody cared when Eddie went after him, and everybody just wanted Eddie to get his hands on 2.0 and Daniel Garcia, and it was, Eddie is so over in that building. I mean, I'm probably just saying something that you all already know if you're listening to the show, but good Lord, Eddie Kingston is over in the building. He is, he's the surprise of 2021 for me. It's just how much of a fan favorite he is.
Yeah, well, that was the thing too. It's like, because when he showed up and first started like the TNT Open Challenge thing with Cody, I was like, oh, this dude is insanely, like, he's money. Like the way that he was talking, the way that he like just was portrayed, I was like, this dude's insane. When he had his feud with Moxley and he had that amazing promo battle with Moxley, I was like, oh my God, this guy is insanely good. But then like even after he was no longer a heel, and then he made the move to a baby face. That was what shocked me, was that like he was able to make the transition over to a baby face, do it so well to the point where, like I said, he's getting about the same reactions as his buddy Moxley was getting. Like,
even the crazier part is how his face turn happened. It happened in the Dud Explosion in February.
Yeah, the Dud Explosion.
Yes, and everybody, I mean, that could have just ruined his face turn.
But it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. This dude flipped it. Remember the promo when he was like,
look at the heat.
And he was like, oh my God. And he's like, I remember what it was like being in jail. And I was like, oh my God. And it was just like, and he flipped that whole thing. And it's just like, it's been one of the better face runs of the year because of it.
Yeah, no, Eddie has been nothing but incredible. And that was one of the surprising things too about how Daniel Garcia cheated, grabbed Kingston's trunks, rolled him up, got the win.
And like, there's a lot of other spots. There was a lot of boo.
Yeah, there was a lot of other spots in this multi-man match too, which I mean, like, again, if you want to see him, you can see him. But yeah, no, the audible anger that Eddie Kingston got cheated out of the match and rolled up by Daniel Garcia.
Like, yeah. If MJF needs a feud, I think Eddie Kingston is gonna happen. It will be a great feud for him. This dude is just that guy, and he's so over. I just like, man, if you ever did like a false him winning the title thing, the world would explode. This dude is, I wouldn't say he's the most over person in the company, but he's in the top 5.
I would say, top 5 at least. But after the match was over, though, I'll wrap this up quickly. Anthony Bowens, he had the boombox. It had a steel chain wrapped around it, and they nailed Kingston with it. And then Jurassic Express and Christian Cage came down to even everything up. And then the Lucha Bros, actually, because their tag team titles were, I think, either knocked out of their hands or they were just on the side. Jungle Boy gave the tag titles back to the Lucha Bros, but you could see that like there was like, oh yeah, we want these sort of thing, and that's how the show ended.
Yes, and that is how the show ended. It was a great ending of the show. After the show, CM Punk came out, cut a promo, and I really cut a promo, just like, thank you, Dallas, did that thing. And then, after the show, this is why you should always stay, he basically went around the thing and took selfies with everybody. And if you saw, I got my 2 double selfie and him doing the finger points with me. And I was just like, this is so cool. He's such a cool guy. My friend Steve's a big CM Punk fan. I was able to make a little room for him up there, and he got his selfie with Punk. And it was just a good moment, and it was just a great night of wrestling. My wife was just like really happy, and she's like, yes, I want to go to more shows. And I was just like, okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to say I love you more, but I do. You know what I gotta say?
I didn't know there. I didn't know there was a way I could.
Yes. So yeah, it's kind of cool because she's like really excited, and we're definitely doing Double or Nothing in Las Vegas, and yeah, it was a great time. It was like in one night they took my wife from a casual fan to a person that's gonna wanna keep up. I'm not gonna say she's gonna watch every show. I'm like, she's not. She likes cooking shows and shit like that.
But she enjoyed her time, though.
She enjoyed her time, and she's gonna make sure she knows what's going on, at least.
Yeah. But that was AEW Rampage. We'll get in now to our preview for the AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash that will be airing probably by the time you hear this episode. So we're going to get freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy versus Adam Cole, baby. The TBS tournament semifinals are going on, so Nyla Rose will be going one-on-one with Ruby Soho. Malachi Black will be going one-on-one with Griff Garrison, and we're going to get the 6-man match between CM Punk, Sting, and Darby Allin versus MJFTR. And then also, I will add this as well, AEW Women's Champion Dr. Britt Baker, she is hosting a Christmas party with Tony Schiavone on this episode as well. So that is another thing to look forward to for the Holiday Bash. But just the fact that it's 2021, it'll soon be 2022, and CM Punk is teaming with Sting in a match. It was in Greensboro too. Fucking insane that's even happening. Baby. Yeah, WCW country. CM Punk is teaming with Sting. Like, it's nuts. Like, so crazy. I'm really pulling for, like, I want Ruby Soho. I expect Ruby Soho to move forward in the TBS tournament. If not, I would actually kind of be a little bit upset. And I'm excited to see Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy one-on-one. I think that's going to be so much fun. But yeah, this is looking like a pretty fun holiday episode of AEW Dynamite.
Yes. It's funny. A little behind the scenes, I did the notes, and I was switching where I wanted Malachi Black, the Malachi Black match and the Ruby Soho Nyla Rose match, and I accidentally left her name, so I had Nyla Black on here for a second. It was pretty funny.
You just got Nyla on the brain.
Yeah, so I had Nyla Black. It was funny. No, it was. I'm looking forward to it. Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole, I think, could be amazing. I hope they give them. I say it, and I mean it. They're going to give them enough time, and it's going to be a good match. And I think it might steal the show. But as far as attraction, there's nothing going to be like MJFTR versus Punk, Sting, and Darby Allin. Just the reactions from the crowd are going to be great. I'm looking forward to see if Eddie Kingston does a promo or if he messes up Britt's Christmas. That should be fun. It's going to be a fun segment. I just think this is going to be just a fun show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun as well. But I want to say one other thing too. Because I couldn't say this last week either. Shout out to Hook, because since he came back to wrestling, not a single person has been able to knock CM Punk off of the top sellers list on Pro Wrestling Tees or on Shop AEW. Hook was the first person to do that.
And he did it with a terrible shirt.
And it's the blandest, most basic-ass T-shirt you could possibly have. And dude made such an impression on his first match that people went nuts.
And everybody wants to say I had Hook's first shirt, apparently.
I guess so. But, and again, Punk was holding it down as that top seller, but now Hook took it. I don't even care what the reasoning is behind it. I got nothing but respect for Hook. The fact that that happened alone is insane. I just wanted to give my shouts out to him because that's a pretty fucking cool thing to do just after your first match. But that is everything in AEW for Dynamite and Rampage, but I will send it off to Floyd because I know we still have a couple other news and headlines to cover right now. So, Floyd, go ahead.
Christmas Rampage, all we have announced is Sammy G and Cody, and then Hook, the aforementioned Hook versus Bear Bronson. And then on January 8th, right now we have the Battle of the Belts. It's going to be a 1-hour special. Right now, the only match we have announced for that is Britt Baker versus Rio. And rumors are, and I've seen all week, that both Brody King and the Briscoes have signed with AEW. FTR has dared the Briscoes to show up at the Holiday Bash in Greensboro. So
if I dare them to, does that mean they'll show up? Because I want them to show up.
Yeah, so we're going to see how that turns out. FTR and the Briscoes, like I said last week, it wasn't something I knew I wanted until I saw them stare each other in the face and then fight. And then I was like, I need this to be a match, and I need this to be on my TV or at a pay-per-view. Well, wherever it is, I need to fucking be there for it. That's just how I feel. So, so I'm really excited to see what is going to happen with them. But that's all the news and notes I have.
Yeah, and I will say one other thing too, actually, because I know there was the rumors were going wild about the possibility of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn signing with AEW. We did get the confirmation that Kevin Owens did re-sign with WWE for a multi-year deal. So I want to say,
congratulations!
Congrats on securing the bag. Congrats on securing the bag for your family. I know we've always known that's been the thing with Kevin, and I got nothing but respect for him for that. Yeah. Slightly disappointed because if Kevin Steen showed up in AEW, I would have shit my pants.
But $2 to $3 million is the rumored number a year. Yeah, that's not money you turn down. I wouldn't expect anyone to turn it down. I wouldn't turn it down. And most importantly, again, as you listen to the show, we will mention AEW cannot sign everyone.
Yes.
First of all, there's only 3 hours of national TV every week. That's it. That's 3 hours of national TV. There are months. Lance Archer. When was the last time Lance Archer was on TV?
When he hurt himself.
Yeah, when he hurt himself in the tournament. There's wrestlers that there's no time for them to get booked. They go weeks and weeks without getting booked, and it's just like, do you think that gets better when they sign like 6 blue chip prospects? No, it gets worse. So I want Tony Khan to make the smart decisions of people he can use and fill the TV with good content. But, Kevin Owens, Steen doing what's best for him, I'm never going to hate on a man for that. Because guess what? If my job someone came for my job tomorrow and said, hey, we'll pay you double what you make right now to do the same job, I'm out. And I love my job. I love it. But, that's just not how the world works. You got to take care of your family. He's got kids to send to college and shit. So there you go.
Yeah, and you do that. Though I will say, because I don't know exactly what the full on, if it's been like actually confirmed with Sami Zayn. If Sami is looking to re-sign with WWE, reconsider possibly having El Generico show up, because that's just, for me personally, I would love just to see El Generico come back. I know he might know, Sami Zayn might know who El Generico is or is aware of him. Just reconsider getting El Generico to come back, because I love Sami Zayn, but we need El Generico back.
Yeah, I don't know what those two have to do with each other at all. I mean, I guess they might be familiar with each other.
Like I said, I think they're only just slightly familiar with each other. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, their moveset is similar, but I like Generico's more than I like Sami Zayn, so whatever. Yeah.
All right.
Very good. Both very talented hands.
No question. Yeah. But that is going to do it for this episode of All Things Elite. Thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast and listening. We really do appreciate it. Continue to download the show on Google or Apple Podcasts. Leave a rating and review. If you listen to us on Spotify or any other podcasting platform, share us with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. And you can leave a donation through Red Circle. We are at AT Elite Pod on Twitter, at Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Please check out all their other podcasts on their network. You will not be disappointed. I am at Austin Szumowicz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. A very happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you. We really, really hope that your holidays are spent with family and people you care about and your friends, and you have a great time. You give gifts, you get gifts, you enjoy your time, and you just fill it with all the happiness that you can, because we all deserve this day to just be with the people we care about and just be happy. So have a genuinely awesome and great holiday. And same thing goes for Floyd too. I will say that before I send it over to him. I hope his holiday is incredible. I hope he has a great time on Christmas. And same thing goes for your wife. Any of your friends, just have a great holiday. Just sharing the love. It's a love fest because I'm a CM Punk mark. And that'll do it for me. But I will send it over to my buddy Floyd, and he can close us out for this holiday issue of All Things Elite.
As we end the year and go into another Christmas, I want to go with the theme that I have been going with all year. Please be nice to people, whether it is in person, whether it is on the internet, whether it is your family member that you cannot stand. Be nice anyway. I am a firm believer in karma. I am a firm believer in the energy that put out. That's what you bring back to you. And that's what I'm saying. I just think whether it's social media, the internet, because everyone seems to agree that the internet's a cesspool. We all need to agree that we should make it better. So all of you, just you take your moment and you take your time, and if each individual person takes their time to try to make the internet a more positive place, then it will become a more positive place, because the internet is people. That's what it is. The internet is people. But I don't want to keep it towards the internet, where you're at the mall or retail stores, and sometimes the service is a little slow and you're getting a little irritated. Be nice anyway. When someone cuts you off in the street, be nice. I know there's a lot of different ways that people can piss you off, but I tell you, if you put a little niceness on it, I'm telling you, a lot of those situations can turn differently, because you never know what anybody else is going through. And that could have been the reason that they were being the way that they were at that moment in time. You will give them a chance to recover if you be nice. So I will leave you with how I always leave you. Whether it's home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite. Merry Christmas.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Now get any breakfast sandwich for just $2. Available only through the app. Mobile order and pay available at participating McDonald's. McD app download and registration required.
Shop Mattress Firm's year-end sale and put an end to junk sleep. Save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase up to a $4.99 value. Or shop top-selling brands and get up to 50% off select mattresses, like Sealy twin mattresses starting at $224.99 or Serta twin mattresses at $349.99. And shop with confidence thanks to our low price guarantee. Only at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store for details.